Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will explain about Lilith. Lilith was the first wife of Adam who left the Garden of Eden and became the mother of demons and the supreme empress of hell. She is also credited as the creator of the Turok Han, an ancient species of vampire, and is thus regarded as the mother of vampires. The Babylonians identified her as a storm demon known as Lilitu in ancient Mesopotamian myth around 3000 BC, and she was thought to have been the cause of disease, illness, and death. A female demon of the night who supposedly flies around searching for newborn children either to kidnap or strangle them. Also, she sleeps with men to seduce them into propagating demon sons. Legends told about Lilith are ancient. The rabbinical myths of Lilith being Adam's first wife seem to relate to the Sumero-Babylonian goddess Belit-Ili, or Belili. To the Canaanites, Lilith was Balat, the divine lady. She later appears as a nocturnal demon in Jewish lore and the proclaimed mother of all demons and the Dark Lady. Lilith possesses a seductive, manipulative nature. She for decades had pretended to be advisor for the goddess Ishtar, which gave her the title of the second hand of Ishtar. Appearance. Lilith is an impeccably beautiful and well-endowed woman, described as the walking definition of feminine beauty alongside Eve herself. In contrast to Eve, who has ginger hair, Lilith originally had platinum blonde hair, fair skin, bright blue eyes, and looked to be more slender but curvaceous nonetheless. She was also shown to be rather taller than Eve, standing roughly around 6 feet and 3 inches in height. Like Eve, she too sported a crown of leaves, though in her case they consisted of branches or twigs formed in an intricate design. After being driven out of the Garden of Eden, Lilith's hair darkened considerably, having a blackish-red coloration with her skin having a light brown pigmentation. Her eyes, which were once sky blue, became a dark yellow. Her hair is also described as being the nighttime sky carefully woven on her head, which is a nod to her shape-shifting into an owl, a nocturnal animal, and her eventually becoming a demon of the night. She also bears puncture wounds on her hands and feet from where Senoi, Sansonoi, and Samangelath pierced her with their lances and threatened to drown her if she did not comply to God's demands. After becoming the Empress of Hell, Lilith was clothed in only the finest noble attire, which possessed a consistent Gothic theme to it, yet demonic in nature. The clothing in question would at times be thin and revealing fabric, usually black or a dark royal purple. Fiery quills of an emerald sheen along with similar scales adorn her head in place of hair, and those same quills run down her spine to culminate in a reptilian tail ending in savage barbs. Her hands were no stranger to this savage appearance, and so her 5-fingered hands ended in curved claws. Lilith's mouth bears sharp fang-like teeth for shredding her victims, and her eyes are smoldering crimson orbs devoid of pupils. She was adorned with jewelry that was rare on Earth and only found in the underworld. Her sclera are red with yellow irises and black pupils. History. Genesis. Lilith was the first wife of Adam, crafted from the same primordial matter as her counterpart by God. At some point in time, while she strolled the primeval plains, Lilith met with Lucifer and the two had a rather amicable conversation, shortly after the morning star was admonished by the Lord. During the conversation, Lucifer managed to persuade Lilith into siding with him as well. He convinced her that since Lilith had been created from clay the same as Adam, she is equal to him and therefore should not be under him. She would be no puppet bound to any string. Lilith was enlightened by the morning star's words. Immediately upon returning, Lilith and Adam began to bicker as she refused to lay at the bottom while Adam was on top during intercourse, only for Adam to counter her by saying that he will only be on top since he is superior. but Lilith rebutted him by saying that they were both made equal, with their argument going back and forth. Lilith basically demanded equality from Adam and, failing to acquire it, exclaimed God's ineffable name and left him in anger. Adam in return complained to God that his wife had deserted him. God sent 3 angels to take Lilith back to Eden, who found her in the Red Sea. When they told her that she must return to Eden, Lilith refused and blasphemed them, to which they pinned her hands and feet with their lances and held her above the Red Sea. From there, they began to threaten her of the consequences should she defy the word of God, the first of which was that she would be tossed in the Red Sea to drown, but she refused. They threatened her a second time, which was the loss of 100 of her children every day unless she returned to Adam. She again refused and was punished by having all of her children slain, though she struck back by saying that 100 more will rise in response. Regardless, she was distraught, and completely left the Garden of Eden, sulking in misery and abandonment. At some point, Lilith met and befriended an abyssal creature known as Tananiver, who became her steed. Tananiver then led Lilith to the archangel Samael, who was cast out from the mountain of God due to his misanthropic views on humanity. While he was initially hostile towards Lilith due to the fact that she was human, she stated that her supposed one purpose in existence, to be subservient to Adam, is nothing but a farce, a blindfold to keep her from finding and achieving a higher goal. She wanted no part in humanity's affairs within the oncoming centuries, and instead would rather be above them than below them, further going on to say that she shares Samael's view when it comes to the destructive nature of what humans will bring, with no concept of equality between them and their societies. This convinced Samael to have trust in her, and more so when she tended to his injured state. Original sin. Because of helping Samael and refusing to return to Adam, 100 of Lilith's children would be slain every day by the 3 angels. This prompted in Lilith's total abandonment of God and her hatred towards the divine, along with Adam being the favored creation. Lilith sat by the Red Sea alongside Tananiver until they saw Lucifer and Samael approaching them sometime after the war in heaven and were on their way to the Garden of Eden. Lilith and her steed joined the 2 fallen archangels on their quest to strike back at God and to pay back her debt to Lucifer for freeing her from Adam's presence. The 4 would only make their move at the hour the angels go up to worship God. The 4 saw the angel Gadriel guarding the gates of Eden. Lucifer then conjured several stars, threw them across Gadriel's line of view, and commanded them to dash around him like hyperactive fireflies, briefly disorienting the angel. Following this, Lilith commanded Tananiver to lunge towards Gadriel and subdue the angel by the throat. This gave Satan and Lilith the opportunity to sneak into the Garden of Eden undetected, prompting Lucifer to leave and return to hell. Tananiver was wounded by Gadriel during the scuffle and drove the beast away. Inside the garden, Lilith at first opted to confront Adam, but due to Adam being her equal, as both she and Adam were created from the same primal matter that God used to create them, she could not harm him. As a result, she set her sights upon Eve herself, seeing that Eve was instead made from Adam's own rib and was thus weak-willed due to being subservient to Adam. Lilith then took the form of an owl, and would whisper words of power, doubt, independence, and self-reflection into Eve's dreams as she was perched atop of a tree where Eve slept, coaxing her enough for Satan, who assumed the form of a serpent, to deceive Eve into eating the forbidden fruit, promising her that if she and her consort devour the fruit they would rule with equal authority like God. However, Lilith's disguise was exposed by one of the animals in the garden, a great wolfhound that would come to be known as Mara, and was promptly driven away by the hound. Regardless, Satan succeeded in having Eve eat the fruit, and the two made their escape from Eden beneath a cloak of darkness weaved by Tananiver, Queen of Hell. After the fall of the angels and Lilith completely cutting ties with heaven and humanity, she eloped with Samael, now known as Satan, and the two were said to have made love within a cave, which resulted in Lilith giving birth to some of the first generation of demonic offspring known as the Lilim. In response to this, God casts Satan further down into the pit where his outer body is chained up but his true body roams the borders of the ninth circle. Moreover, the three angels slaughtered Lilith's children just as they warned her they would. Due to Satan's imprisonment, she took to Asmodeus instead, procreating demonic offspring and spreading chaos at every turn. Lilith became a consort of Asmodeus, and the offspring they bore were the Osmodai, a second generation of Horde of Lilim, whom Lilith personally raised and trained, usually through harsh and ruthless means. Later on, Lilith rose dramatically in the ranks by becoming the first and possibly only demon queen, as well as the Empress of the Inferno by wedding Lucifer, who crowned himself the Emperor of Hell. Lilith's union with Lucifer resulted in the birth of none other than Mundus, the potential heir to Hell's throne. Aside from her other duties and habits, Lilith would groom Mundus into becoming a powerful ruler and even spoil him, though Lucifer held no special love for his son.